Welcome back to Las Vegas Now. As people get their taxes prepared, we checked in with Eric Palacios of Eric Palacios Associates, the sponsors of this next segment, to learn more about tax fraud and how to prevent it. Check it out.
Hey, Eric, welcome back.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Always good to see you. It's time to get an update on taxes. Tax season is underway. Tax fraud, we are all vulnerable to it. Let's talk about it. What exactly is that?
Tax fraud is when you deliberately misrepresent what you've earned, when you try to hide income, earnings, or assets, then you can get in trouble with the IRS.
Right, so what are the penalties exactly? What happens?
They can be pretty harsh, up to $100,000 fine, up to 5 years in prison. If you are operating as a business, as a corporation, then the fine can be up to $500,000.
Wow, and if the IRS, is involved, how do they know how to audit people, or how do they know who is to be audited?
It's a computer software that they use, and it looks for irregularities in tax returns. So if you're flagged, you will receive a letter from the IRS. This is very important. There's a lot of scams going on. If you get an email, if you get a phone call saying you need to pay, or we're going to come to your house, we're going to come to your business and arrest you, that's not the IRS. That's not how they operate. They simply send you a letter scheduling a face-to-face meeting or asking you to call them.
That is a great reminder, a great, warning. So if someone is audited, should they be afraid? How should they react? What should they do first things first?
Yes and no. It is a scary or an intimidating process, but as long as you've done everything correctly, you shouldn't be afraid to go and talk to them. It's important that you take all your proof, all your documentation, all your receipts, and what's going to happen is they're going to go through that. And if they do find that you missed some items or that you should have paid some, normally you won't get in too much trouble. You will just have to pay the difference, the amount that you owe, interest, and maybe a penalty. Okay,
but when should you be worried if you're audited?
You should worry if you deliberately did something you shouldn't have done. If you hid assets, if you hid income or earnings, or you exaggerated your expenses, if you don't have documentation to back up what you claim on your taxes, then you should worry.
Yeah, you did not get away with it. It's actually what's happening there. What should you do to prevent being audited?
It's important to have a good tax preparer. If you're running a business, it's important to have a CPA, a bookkeeper, and an enrolled agent. If you're just employed by someone and you have a relatively simple tax return, it's still a good idea to have someone you trust help you in preparing your taxes, and always be honest. Don't exaggerate trying to get a bigger tax return. It's going to bite you in the end.
Always be honest. Integrity. What a concept. That is great advice.
Thank you to Eric Palacios Associates for sponsoring that important segment. Give them a call at 702-444-7777. You can also visit their website at Eric